You may have noticed there was no episode last week. That's because I was in the hospital and losing lots of blood. Welcome to this very personal episode of The Arbour Effect. Today's episode of The Arbour Effect is brought to you by our friends at Shopify. I love Shopify, and by now you know that all the best businesses use Shopify. All those trending businesses of all the products that you love use Shopify. As the weather's getting warmer, if you have children's, and I know a bunch of you do, I want to see a Shopify lemonade stand. Girl Scouts, lemonade stands, bake sales. Get Shopify. Then it doesn't matter if people are like, oh, I don't have any cash on me. That's fine. We take Shopify. Come on. I just increased your sales by 1,000,000,000%. Not an accurate percent, but you know what I mean. Your kid's sports team is going door to door collecting donations. You're selling something to raise money for an end of school year, something grad trip. Get Shopify. Most people don't carry cash anymore. It's part of the new world order. That's a totally different story. Shopify has a little card reader that you could buy from them. It's like barely nothing. Use Shopify for all of your door-to-door fundraising and lemonade stand needs. I feel like whatever kid does this is going to trend. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Arbour. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Arbour to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Arbour. Success in selling is all about being ready, so you don't have to get ready. This episode is for the girlies and the guys who love the girlies. The gays, you probably don't need to watch this one. If I seem low energy, I'm sorry. It's because I've lost a lot of blood. I'm actually feeling a little weak and sick, but we're gonna do this because this is an important episode. Ooh, I have pain. This is like a crazy medical emergency story. If you are squeamish, this week's episode will not be for you, but I love you and I'll see you next week. So, I was just I was at dance class and I look at a video at dance class and I'm like, I'm looking a little on the poofy side in the lady stomach. That's weird. Oh well. The next day, I was bleeding and it was not my period, okay? It was not my period. It was way more than that. I had that moment where it's like, I'm getting lightheaded. I'm starting to feel a little woozy. Things are starting to get a little foggy. My speech is getting slurred. This is one of those moments that if I don't call for help and I'm trying to be like a hero, something bad could happen. I am so glad that I called my fiance. He was at a session, recording session, and I'm like, baby, I think I need help. I'm not feeling so. Allegedly, moms, don't be upset with me when I say this. A bunch of you agreed already. What happened is in line with the pain level of giving birth. Unfortunately, but fortunately, as you guys know, I'm very good with pain. I've had my pain courses. I was in severe chronic pain for years, so I'm really good at managing pain. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I know what to do. I'm just going to breathe. I have different exercises. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to drink extra water. I know what to do. I probably waited too long. So my man, who is the greatest man of all time, he's an absolute champion. He takes me to a lady doctor appointment right away. They get me in because they're like, uh-oh, something is wrong. He's doing the machines and the look-sees and the stuff and the pressure, and girls know it's not a comfortable experience. And I'm already crazy uncomfortable. I'm like, all right. But she's a very nice lady. She's very nice. She's like, I'm so sorry, Nicole. As she's doing stuff, which I feel is how all lady doctors should talk to us. I am so sorry. This is going to be uncomfortable. And at the end of it, she's like, okay, I want you to call your man into the room. And I'm like, uh-oh. And she basically is like, listen, mother truckers, you need to go to the hospital and you need to go now. You're okay, Nicole. You're okay. Just, okay. Take her to the hospital right now. My guy is just freaking cool as a cucumber. He is just the best possible human being under pressure. He's like, we're going to go to the hospital now, Nicole. Don't worry. Thanks, guys. We're going straight to emergency. She gave us a letter that we're supposed to hand to whoever the doctor is at the emergency room that details what's going on. And I didn't read it. I just saw that she's frantically writing a letter to whoever's the main doctor at emergency. The hospital that we go to, very nice one, does not have the ultrasound machine available that we need. The person who runs that specific machine had gone for the night. I didn't even know that that's a thing that happens at hospitals. So we had to go across town to, it was the hospital equivalent of where Michelle Pfeiffer would teach at a school. It was, if you get that joke, you know what I mean? It's not good. It's where doctors who did something bad would be banished to as punishment of a hospital. They bring out a wheelchair and I'm like, am I okay? And my guy's like, you're good, honey. You're fine. Yeah, get her in that wheelchair. You're good. I'm like, okay. Let me tell you the level of not so ideal hospital. They draw my blood and they hand 3 vials of my blood to my guy to hold. And they're like, yo, hold these until the doctor comes because he's going to need those. I'm like, baby, okay? They just handed you my blood. So he just had my blood, vials of my blood in his pocket as he's like wheeling me around. And it was hours until he was like, hey, like, who do I give this to? This emergency room. There were people in there wailing at the top of their lungs, calling out to Jesus and God and whoever else you could possibly pray to. I'm talking like top of your lungs wailing. My dude's like, you know, honey, just watch your Netflix show and put in your earphones so that I could like stay calm and keep my heart rate kind of level because I was literally passing out. They were like, oh, she's in a lot of pain. Me. Being me, I'm like, indeed I am. Not a lot of times I'm quiet. Pain will do it to me. They just take me around a little corner and they're like, all right, drop your pants. I'm like, what? I don't even have energy to fight with you. A very sassy black nurse was like, pop your hip to the right like you're going to a party. I'm like, all right. Pop. She's like, jab. I'm like, oh, I had never had any kind of medication jabbed into my ass prior to that. That was a first for me. And then she's like, all right, now pop the other side. I'm like, all right, pop. I mean, there's like people walking around and walking by. I could see all of the other people. They could see me. My guy's trying to stand guard, but everybody could see what's happening. And frankly, at that point, I didn't care. I'm like, whatever you got, get it in me. Give me the drugs. And this is Nicole, who like does not do drugs. I'm not a drug person. I'm so against pharmaceuticals and painkillers. And I'm like, give me what you got. Now I understand the women who are in labor and are like very natural, crunchy granola ladies that are suddenly like, give me the epidural. Like, I get it. I get it now. I understand where you guys are coming from. So she jabs me and I go back to the waiting room of horrors where there's just like screams and sounds and people fighting with their elderly family members to try and make them not rip their IV out. That was right in front of me. That was quite the show. My hero of a freaking man goes over. He's a good looking guy. I don't know if you guys have seen him. He goes over. He gets a little bit of a flirt on with the nurse station, and I'm all about it. And he's just being all suave in himself with his vials of blood in hand. You know, where would she need to go next? Just wondering if one was needing to get a transvaginal, this is where we're going today, guys, ultrasound, where would you go? And they're like, oh, well, you can't do that until the doctor says. He goes, yeah, but where would we go for that? He says he wasn't flirting, but I'm honestly okay if you were. Yeah, exactly. You flirt anytime you need to save my life. Thank you so much. He like takes us up to the ultrasound area. We weren't called. My name was not called. We weren't supposed to be there yet. We so far, without my name being called, I got my blood drawn. I got an IV. I got nausea information. I don't even think we had registered yet. I got like the nausea stuff. I got, I did a urine test, which by the way, they just handed me a little Dixie cup and they're like, pee in this. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, okay, put it on the tray. It was like a lunch cart with other people's open urine just in Dixie cups. And they just like, there was no name on it. There's no sticker. There's no nothing. I hold my urine and put it on this food tray where if it like shifted slightly, everyone's would just splash into each other's. They'd be like, sir, you're pregnant. Like, what? All the urines have gone. They're all together. Yeah, so that was interesting. And now he's sneaking me to get my ultrasound. He acts like he's like a porter that's just like transporting a patient, and he goes to the thing and he like taps on the window. This is like middle of the night, like probably like 5 a.m. at this point. He's like tap on the window. The lady's sleeping in the ultrasound area. He's like, hi, I have Nicole Arbour here for her ultrasound. Date of birth, says all my information, and is just like, yeah, she needs the following things. She bought it. Lady bought it. Sleeping nurse lady bought it. She kind of looked at him like, who the F are you? But then she's like, I don't care. I looked, you see where I'm working? Nobody cares at this hospital. The urine are having parties with each other. It's a urine orgy down there. Sure. She's like, let me call the doctor 1 second. Just put her over here. I'm like, baby, it worked. It worked. He's getting me in. This is amazing. I have no energy to respond, but this is amazing. Doctor's even a little bit confused, like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be seeing you. I was like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to be seeing me right now. Well, sorry. he does the thing. It's like a dildo with a camera on it. And they pop it in you and they can see all the things. It's miracles of science. He's having his little look around, his little look-see. At first, he's like, okay, so how many months are you along? And I'm like, oh, this is news to me. I'm like, what are you seeing? And he's like, what? He thought I was there because I'm pregnant. Imagine now I'm in like psychotic pain, bleeding a lot, have some heavy painkillers in my system, and this man's like, how far along are you? And I'm like, this is so news to me. I was not in fact pregnant. But he like shows me on the screen, he like flips it around and he's like, oh, well, actually, I don't know if you're supposed to do this. I don't think the person who does ultrasound is supposed to do this, but he did. He's like, you can see right there, you had a really big cyst and it's ruptured. And yeah, so that's what's happened. The fuck does that mean? I had no idea what that was. Apparently, this is like a thing that happens to women. No one had ever told me about the horror movie that is rupturing an ovarian cyst prior to this. Like, people had said to me, like, Nicole, oh yeah, I have a cyst on my ovary, which is normal. Women all get like cysts on our ovaries. I've learned this in the last few days. But a cyst that's like an issue or one that ruptures is a medical emergency. It's like you need to go to the doctor, to the ER now, because you could literally bleed out. I don't remember learning this in health class. I don't remember girls sitting around chatting about this. All I remember is like some family member being like, oh yeah, I have a cyst on my ovary. It's painful. I thought it was like, if you get like a cyst on your arm or something, oh, it'll pop and you put some ointment on it and you're good to go and whatever. No. That's not what this is. It's like internal bleeding. And if that bleeding gets stuck in your stomach, really bad things can happen. So I've spent the last few days in bed on medication. The pain was still so crazy. I was starting to pass out again a day ago. Like, I didn't know if it was because I was like, I lost a lot of blood, which sounds weird. You don't think of that on a daily basis. You're like, oh, my blood, it just stays in there. That's where it goes. Like, you're not like, oh, I have to make more blood and because I lost some. Gosh, at one point they were like prepping me for like, oh, if she needs blood transfusion or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't want other people's blood, mostly because I don't know what vaccine they took. I know this isn't the most important right now, but like this is how I think. I don't know what that person eats. What if they have is it gluten-free blood? Is the blood gluten-free? I don't know. Is that a thing? Do I have to worry about gluten-free blood? I've never thought of any of these things. I am lightheaded again. I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh, night. We gotta go to an emergency lady doctor. And here's where it gets pretty funny. We see the last name of the doctor. Doctor, we'll say Smith. My fiance is like, oh, I knew a Dr. Smith back in the day. I wonder if they're related. It's totally different places, but it's not a common name. This name, it's not Smith. So we go in the doctor and he comes with me because he needs to know the information. Men. If your lady is going through any kind of like medical emergency type of thing, go in the room, even if it seems like an embarrassing appointment, because it's a team effort, okay? It's a team effort. We need to know what's going on. You need to be able to help us or carry us because you're stronger, I assume. If you're not, please go to the gym. You should be stronger than your lady. My guy comes into the appointment and he goes, oh, this is awkward. It's not Mrs. Smith. It's her son with the same last name, who he went to high school with back in the day, who has since moved and everybody's moved away and he became a lady doctor is what it is. So now his old high school buddy is talking about my vajayjay. I didn't know that black men could blush, but my guy is bright red. You were bright red. Your face was so red. Your cheeks were just like flesh. He kept his sunglasses on in the appointment because he was so embarrassed. He had his sunglasses on because he couldn't even look at the guy in the face. All right, let's get you up on the chair. And I'm like, all right, let's go. My fiance is like, oh my God, my high school buddy's about to see my lady's parts naked. He's about to get on in there. What? You didn't say any of this. Your face said all of it. Your face was so red. Anyways, so I just like go behind the curtain, still just like, but this is funny to me. This is funny. They're like bantering back and forth like high school boys do. I get up on the stirrups and I could feel the presence of my guy like burning through the little curtain. He's just like burning. He's like, I've never been more awkward in my life. I've never felt more embarrassed, awkward. I don't like this.
Even true.
What's your version? It wasn't awkward for you?
I mean, I expected it to be more awkward than it actually was. But my primary concern was your health, so I was like, that's the first and most important thing. So I didn't really have any concern about anything else.
It was still a hilarious experience, don't lie. So he's doing his little looky-loo and his little poke around, as they do. And as he's like taking his glove off, and I'm like, hey, so how am I? Like, am I okay? He's like, actually, it's perfect.
Yeah, that was funny.
He like paused. He's like, it's perfect. He had like a little look off into the distance, and I'm like, coming from a man who stares at vaginas all day, that's like such a nice compliment. That like, say that again. You were like, what?
Yes, it is. You are correct.
Turns out the painkiller they had given me at the hospital, like the prescription painkiller they gave me at the hospital, was what you give teenage girls who have period cramps, not what you give someone who has burst an ovarian cyst, a large one, and is keeling over and passing out. Dummies. Turns out I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Woohoo! I'm getting okayer by the day. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to work out right now. Boo. I don't want to lose these booty gains, but health comes first, and I'm in blood making mode. Never thought I'd be in that mode, but I'm making blood now, so any tips on that, let me know. Here's why I'm sharing this story. I went online for information because I knew nothing about this at all. Nothing. I felt so stupid. I've had a lady body my entire life, and I didn't know how to take care of this. I didn't know what to do in this situation. If I had an idea of what was happening, I could have been more prepared, less scared. Like, knowledge is power all the time, especially in like emergency situations. I didn't know. So I just went on TikTok, and there's all these girls sharing stories about having the same thing happen to them. And I'm like, this is a thing. This is an actual like massive thing that happens to lots of people, and I had no idea. And then I go on my Instagram and I just like shared a story about just like a little quick one about this is happening. And so many of you wrote to me and were like, yes, please talk about this because people don't know about it. Or like we don't share our experiences. Like women's health is supposed to be some like hidden thing when we've been making jokes about guys getting fingers up their butts for their prostate checks for as long as I can remember. And like talking about guy stuff isn't that taboo, but talking about women's stuff, we're still supposed to be like squirmish about it. But like, hello, we make people, we need to talk about these things. Healthy wife, healthy life. Let's say that. Thank you to all the ladies and guys who sent me tips and told me like, you know, how long I should expect to be in pain, things I can do to relieve pain. Women who shared with me that, yes, this is equal or even more painful to childbirth. And that, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from moms. Moms, don't come for me. I'm sure that is very, very painful. But apparently you guys have told me like it was like equal pain or even more pain what I was doing. And I'm like, that's why I was passing out. All right, I'm not just a pose. That was extreme pain. All this to say, I loved that we could talk about a serious thing and you guys all just like came in like my real community and gave me tips and tricks, and we were talking in my DMs. I was talking with people that follow me that I've never met, and you guys were helping me and telling me what to do. And that means so freaking much. You know, like we don't have villages as much anymore. We have social media, and social media was actually social. Here's what I want to teach women who maybe don't know about ovarian cysts so that you guys are prepared if something like this happens to you, if one bursts. Okay, I'm going to do this part fast because I'm in a lot of pain right now and I'm starting to sweat because of it, which means I need to go take a drug. I didn't really want to do this episode like high. That's a different topic, but like it's hard for me to take any kind of painkillers because I was forced to take painkillers for so long, and I see them as like the villain. I don't like taking them, so I've been like taking the least amount of painkiller I can take. But now that I'm sweating, I know I need to take one soon. Here's how you can tell if an ovarian cyst has burst. Sudden sharp pain in your lower belly or back. I got both. Sudden like sharp lower back pain. It's actually like stated like a dull back pain too, but sharp pain in your stomach. Ooh, spotting or bleeding. Take it seriously. Don't just assume that it's just a period in between your periods or it's like some hormonal thing, whatever. Heed the warnings. Abdominal bloating. It will stick out very far. It is painful. It is very painful. Do not ignore this pain. If you have those symptoms and you feel pain that's growing or a sudden rush of pain, do not ignore it. Yes, this is your Nicole Arbour Go Team PSA. You could die if you don't go to the emergency room because sometimes you can't stop bleeding. It blew my mind how no one at the hospitals suspected this is what was going on. It took a specific lady doctor to even think about it. Now, if it does happen, heat is your friend. Get a heat bag, put a moist towel in the microwave for a couple minutes. Don't put a dry towel. It will in fact set on fire. I learned that 2 days ago. I learned that 2 days ago. I set a towel on fire. Well, this was a very personal Arbour effect. I never, ever thought that I would talk about these things. I always said I would never be a girl comedian that talks about my period and this kind of stuff. But real life is real life. And we got to be real people sometimes, and we got to help each other. So that's how I feel. Thanks for watching. Keep laughing. Be good to each other in real life. Take your painkillers and go team. I'm going back to bed now. I'll feel better next week.